Hello, this is another VOD review, and this is another, I think this was, I want to say, a 6-stack, I think I want to say that it was a 6-stack, I think. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a 6-stack, I think. I'm trying to remember. But either way, so let me go on ahead and pull it up.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Let's fast forward. Alright, so just to start off, I went Moon Knight to see like kind of what they had. And so right off the bat they have Namor, Luna Snow, Hela, Spider-Man, and Cloak and Dagger, right? And so the reason why I died here is because the only reason is that I was pushing up with my tanks, okay? And so I would have killed at least like one of their supports, but I instantly died because both Blake and Jake moved backwards, right? And so now I'm dead. And so with how much they are, okay, so after I died, I switched obviously, but the reason why the reason why I'm kind of rewinding this point is because, did you take the wall down? Did they destroy it? Oh, it got destroyed by the card. Oh, that's lame. Okay, so basically I was trying to see if they had destroyed it by itself, but it was the card. Okay, so basically what they're doing really well is pairing up and attacking based on the space that is taken. Okay, because look, okay, so with playing against one tank, a lot of space can be occupied, right? And so right here we had a lot of space open from down to the supports and to the DPS. And so one or two things could have happened, right?
That's what I need.
One or two things could have happened besides that kill from Spider-Man. Okay, one or two things could have happened. Our Bucky could have hooked somebody in because the Doctor Strange had to back out, which is a good thing because he was low. Now look at where everybody else is. We have everybody else up and Spider-Man on flank, right? So we have a lot of open space, okay? We just have a lot of open space back here. I mean, in front of here, my bad. And so, yeah, we have a Namor and Squid right there, but easily it could have been dealt with between 4 people back here, right? And so this is where pocketing each support comes in, because if somebody is getting flanked, right, then the heal should not be down main, because right now we have our Bucky at near full health, Jake at near full health, and the only person that is really half health is Blake. But at the same time, they're not even targeting him, right? They're targeting you guys in the back. okay? But you have a tank right here, which is why I'm saying that the space can't be taken with 2 tanks. With 1 tank, space can be invaded, just like how there's open space right there. But at the same time, when we have a flanker targeting our healers and stuff, not only do our healers need to be pocketing each other with heals, we also need to communicate with how we're going to deal with the flank, right? So like I said, I went Namor to deal with Spider-Man, but it's not should always be myself dealing with him as well. Like I said, healers have to know how to switch between healing and DPSing, because right here, okay, so right here, Viper with Sue, this is how you avoid getting hit, right? So he pulls in, but you can actually, oh, you used your jump already. Oh yeah, how did you end up that low? Yeah, see, like, why are you... Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. You were out of position, and that's how you ended up in low health in the beginning anyway. And so Spider-Man just kind of took advantage of the situation, and so you had to use a cooldown. Now, you should have just stayed invisible at least for another minute, right? Because, actually, here's what you could have done right here. You could have put the shield on on Jay. You could have put the shield on Jay, and since it stays in place, all you had to do was just hide behind it, and Spider-Man would not have killed you right there. That is how you effectively use Sue from stopping a dive, right? And with that, since he's targeting you, Jay can throw a healing bubble down. Actually, you did that, actually. But Jay can throw a healing bubble down and heal you. That is how you transfer the heals as a whole, okay? So right here, you should have walked in front of it instead of just walking over here, because you're responsible for your own self of healing yourself, right? What you could have did was, Viper, is, like I said, walk in front of it, because it's still gonna heal you regardless, even though it's a shield. So it would have stopped his attack coming through, I think. But at the same time, you also could have force pushed him, so it stops him from pulling into you also. That is why I like playing Sue against divers in general, because she has so many options to stop it, and that's why she's really a really good character. I may be wrong on that push part, but I think you can push him, because at the very least you can jump out of his pull actually, and when he targets you, you can immediately jump and go invisible. And I think you just have to wait, but at the same time, I think you can jump when you see the webs, and he instantly can't target you, I think. I'll have to look at that again. But like I was saying, was you should have walked in the shield and you wouldn't have died. That is how you pocket yourself as Sue. But at the same time, Jay should not have been focusing down main. He should have been focusing on you and what's going on around, because Blake is gonna live for a minute. Like, let's be real. You have, like, here's the thing. You have Magneto with a bubble able to protect him, right? There's no reason that all the heals should be going down main and stuff, right? There's no reason, okay? And so with that, Viper shouldn't have died right here, let's be honest. And then now he's just in the back line just doing whatever. And so now he had to retreat, but at the same time, now we're trying to figure out where Spider-Man is, and now our heals are gone. And Blake dies because of it, which is why I'm saying that it should have been more orchestrated from Viper putting the shield down and walking in front of it and covering himself, and then Jay throwing down the bubble and keeping you alive as well, because like I keep telling y'all, the support are the most vital part of the game, okay? Because you keep everybody alive, you help people make plays and things like that. So y'all two gotta treat each other like y'all are basically the prize, essentially, because if one of you die, we have to back up. But let's say if a DPS dies, we have one DPS that can do the most like damage and stuff, but at the same time, if we're down a healer, that means we're down healers as a whole. And so yeah, that's how we lost that beginning part right there, because Viper was out of position. That's one thing. He put the shield down but didn't walk in front of it, and Jay did not throw down a bubble to help him. Okay? And so, like I said, Magneto is easily in my opinion, the #1 tank, because he can pocket his other tank for free and keep him alive. That's why I'm saying with you, Viper, and Jay, at that point, y'all should have just been pocketing each other and making sure y'all are good. Okay? Before anybody starts throwing healing at all, y'all should have been like, okay, there's a Spider-Man. That means he's going to be targeting us, which is Spider-Man's game plan already. And so that means that y'all two will have to stick together, because Spider-Man is going to easily pick both of y'all off separately. So never, when we're up against a Spider-Man, never go off separately. Always stick together, because y'all can pocket each other. Like, for example, Viper with Sue, if Jay gets jumped on and he has no resources, you can literally just spam the shield on him while he's in the air, and he can get healed like that. Point blank simple. And all the damage that he just did was just point blank careless, right? Then with you, Jay, if Viper's getting attacked, you can throw down the bubble or target your heals on him, right? The only thing you should not throw on him really is the light force thing. You can throw down the bubble, because guess what? The tanks can retreat to it and then switch positions that way, or you know what I'm saying? The tanks can switch positions, get heals from that way, while also doing that, or aim your light force at the tanks, right? That's how effective pocketing is, and so we gotta get better at that, right? So my crosshair looks ugly. So Spider-Man is flanking it in.
Now might be a good time to stop them.
I wasn't ready for it. Okay, actually I lied. I was ready for it, but look how I was positioned. Because I thought that he was going to hit the pillar and stuff, because look how far he had to like go through, because sometimes it don't even work like that. But either way, it is what it is. I really thought that he was just gonna hit the freaking hit the wall, but I didn't. Yeah, but it's okay. That's why I didn't bubble, because sometimes like that you just gotta take chances, and I took that chance, and oh well. Viper again is out of position. I don't know why he's up there. And see, right there, you just walked by your shield. You can stay in front of it. And it's a free shield for you. That's what I'm saying. Because when we're putting pressure up, you can just consistently put the shield up and they're protected and they don't do damage. Well, and they're not taking damage, my fault. And so they just keep going, right? And see, same over here, right? So for this instance, we have, again, we have a lot of space taken up because we just have we have a lot of space taken up right here because their tank is on high ground. That is enough space to practically go in right here and force a little bit of cooldowns, okay? Because here's what the Bucky can do right here, right? So instead of being down main with Bucky, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna live because every ability that you goddamn do will give you bonus health. So right here, he could have stayed on this off angle right here and attack from this way. One thing. Because you gotta give a reason for the tank to not play back. We did not give a reason for the tank to not play back at all. Because 2 tanks against 1, we should have won this on paper. Theoretically. We should have won this on paper. Because 1 tank, that means that a lot of space is going to be invaded and stuff like that. Right? So really and truthfully, Spider-Man hates Bucky. Point blank simple. Because he can get pulled. He has a lot of bonus health. He just takes he just takes a lot. He's beefy. He can't kill a character above 250. That's his, yeah, he cannot kill a character above 250. So just about, hold on. Bucky's safe. Oh wait. You're not safe. You're safe, actually. Yeah, he can't kill a character out of 250. Not even with the Venom team up, he can't kill a character out of 250. So the only 2 people that are not safe was Jay and me when I was on Namor. But at the same time, Namor has an escape option. He has a bubble, right? But continuing, I switched to Loki to go triple support, right? So now we only have 1 person. Now we do have a good composition with supports in the beginning, but at the same time, we weren't utilizing off angles. This is how people at top level get stuff done, because really and truthfully, Bucky could have forced something. So like, for example, right? We could literally have Magneto and Bucky down on the off angle right here, right? Because Magneto has a crap ton of range, can hit the off angle just like so. Bucky, you're beefy, and we can have literally Groot down main. And basically, guess what? They're forced to take push back and fight you guys on the off angles, because guess what? Hela can't take on Magneto and Bucky, not even with the support, right? Namor can't put squids in every location, And Spider-Man is just gonna be Spider-Man, right? Point blank simple. And so if we force the off angles and force pressure, we can do a lot better at utilizing, you know, stuff like this, because 132, that was ran in the Invitational and EU, and they got stomped like badly. But over here we're getting pushed back. Like, look right here. There should have been like right here. A Bucky hook should have been right there. How did you use all of your cooldowns? Who did you push? Okay. I don't know who you pulled in, but that was not a good use of cooldown right there. Because really right here, y'all, everybody had at least something to deal with it, right? Where was I? Oh, I'm dead. I'm coming back, okay? Bucky had a hook, but he ran. What was the point of running? And this is what I'm saying. We panic when we don't have to, right? Jay, you could have thrown a bubble down at everybody, and you would have been in it too. Guess what? Y'all would have got constant heals, and he wouldn't have been able to kill nobody. Viper, if you didn't use your cooldowns that much, you would have been able to push Doctor Strange. And really and truthfully, if you push Doctor Strange, the only people that really would have been affected was Blake, honestly. And so we just had a bunch of stuff to stop that ult, and we didn't use it. And so, and then this is what I'm saying, we have to play reactive, because if we don't, we have several answers to situations that could have been avoided, like this. Nobody would have got team wiped, possibly, if we had if at least 2 people used necessary tools. Bucky should have pulled the Doctor Strange or hooked him, right? Because that's what he does. He cancels out a lot of things. He cancels out Spider-Man. Oh, he cancels just about everything except for Magneto. Okay. He cancels Thor on startup before he goes up in the air. He cancels that. And then, like I said, with you, Viper, on Sue, you could have easily force pushed Doctor Strange a whole yard away, and that would have been 2 ults used. And then guess what? That would have been 1 support ult for us, and Blake using what do you call that thing? Blake using an ult right there, right? Possibly. Okay. So we had the necessary tools to deal with it. We just didn't do that part correctly, and so now I'm forced to back up. And honestly, this is where everybody
There's still a chance to stop them.
so in order to take this fight right here at the gates, we don't need to go down this path right here. We need to go the other way. Okay, that's just point blank simple.
I outnumber you.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
And nobody used their ults right there. Nobody. I didn't have it.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time assistance? Anyone willing to help?
Don't mess with the amazing
I don't even think my clone would have worked. I think
Spider-Man!
my clone got killed.
They hit a checkpoint.
I could have put another clone down. I give myself yeah. Okay, so right there I could have put a clone down again. But at the same time I was slowed. Okay. But like I was saying, I could have put another clone down. Okay. But again,
The amazing
Bucky has Hook.
Don't mess.
See, right here, it's just a simple turnaround, which is what I'm saying. Okay? So, over here, we have Blake down main and Jake on the off angle a little bit. But the Spider-Man is between 3 supports and the DPS, right? And what makes me a little bit, like, makes this questionable is that with Jay, you got out the way, but the smart thing what it did was to just, you know, ult and stuff. Or actually, I even take it back, like Viper could have ulted. Or no, better yet again. Oh. Nah. Well, wait. Okay, in this situation right here. Okay, in this situation, Bucky should have turned around and instantly hooked him. Because that would have gave us time to heal him. And I'm going to tell you how this situation could have ran down. Okay? With really good reaction, he could have instantly turned around, hooked him. Jay would have been alive and I would have been alive. He would have been stunned. Then guess what though? Guess what? He had his knuckle. So, with him having his knuckle, he's gonna have a little bit more stun. So obviously Bucky would not have died. And a little bit more bonus health too. Then we could have healed him.
With the amazing Spider-Man!
But we didn't, so all 2 supports and DPS died. And then guess what? Because of that one opening, we lost. Again. Another team wipe.
Been knocked down
right?
before.
That is how we keep losing, because we're not using our character strengths effectively. I think Prime was in our 6 stack, but at the same time, he wasn't using his character's abilities effectively, because you're anti-dive, and so you're not being in a position where you can react to things, or not even trying to help. It would have been different if he had turned around and still tried to hook, and guess what, he was point blank range, so it obviously would have hit unless he just had bad aim. But he could have saved me and Jay and himself in that scenario, because like I said, he had knuckle too, right? And so then again, like I said, with him saving everybody right there, we had 2 support ults going. And so we would have been able to hold them off and defend them and stuff. But because we all died in that area, we had to push back. And so another situation that could have happened was if Viper ulted. That would have saved everybody right there. That's another scenario. Or Jay could have ulted. Another scenario. But the high key favorable scenarios that we want to achieve is not using our support ults every time for things like something like that. Okay, that's the goal we should have as a team, is use our support ults less and find answers to things. like I said, with Bucky Hook, he can literally stop it in the middle of the animation and pull him in, knuckle, gain bonus health. Y'all could have instantly targeted him, killed him possibly, and then healed. That's a favorable situation, but unfavorable situations would be we use a support ult. And so even though that would keep people alive, we had to use an ult to stay alive. Okay? So we have 5 ults going, right?
It's now or never. Stop them.
Namor's got evil squid.
So right here, instead of using the energy fist, I'm gonna just call it energy fist. I would just keep firing shots, honestly, until I see them put it down. Okay. So Vibra ults right here, right? Which is good. Now that's a good ult. Okay. Boom. How did he hit? Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Let me rewind that, because that actually should have been a very favorable situation. Okay, rewind. That's good. We got 2 kills, right? So right here, okay, this is, so when we have a Bucky on our team, we have to keep track of where the people that he hit go. Okay, because the reason why Bucky is so good is because whoever kills him, he gets his reset back. So right here, okay, all everybody had to do was follow the cloak. And Jake should have been the one to kill, because look at what happened. Right? So my thing with that is that he honestly...
And stay down.
Boom.
Again!
Why didn't he get 8 seconds right there? Wait. Boom.
Again!
Okay. So, right here, this is how the situation could have been a team wipe. Boom. He gets 8 seconds. Okay. So instead of immediately using it again, I would damage somebody first, because you instantly get 8 seconds. So right, he gained it back, but he instantly used it. And so if we're not in a position to capitalize on the health marker, then it's not a good ult. It was a good combo ult, but at the same time, you should have damaged the rest and then did it again, because you have 8 seconds. And so look,
Good thing I was here.
because of that, we could have had a lot better impact on that if we, you know, waited, right? If we waited on doing it again. I don't know why Jake was up so far. Why was Jake up so far? Oh, he got pulled. That was a good pull, actually. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a really good pull. But why isn't our Bucky doing that? Right? See, like right here, you could easily hide around this crack right here and instantly pull that Doctor Strange. And if you have your sensitivity high enough, you can basically do an instant pull turnaround and have the Strange into the team. If you have your sensitivity high enough. Because he needs to have a good bit of horizontal sensitivity to be able to do his hooks effectively, which is pull them into the team. So let's say if he gets a tank and a couple people, right? Pull them in. Guess what? You knuckle them further in. Yeah.
I am ready to put on a show.
And it's better doing, and the hook is better just as a sneak attack rather than just something like out in the open, in my opinion.
I like the cold.
Because people can see you with the thing. Yeah, down main and stuff, right? And so, like I said, you're anti-dive, so if they have a diver that's diving, see, like right there, that was a good freeze, by the way. That was a really good aiming freeze right there. That was really good, and props to Viper on that one. That was a really good freeze. And so, what I mean is that you can instantly aim your hook and pull Spider-Man in, and then now that they have a Doctor Strange ult, you can wait for their Doctor Strange ult and pull them in too. Good kill, got a kill on that. Good pressure, good stuff. And see, that's what I'm saying. We started doing a little bit better towards the end. This is where the Jake should have been up front. And where the frick is Blake? Where are you? Oh, you died. Somehow? Oh. Jake should have been up here. Well, he is, but... So I'm going on the off angle again.
Denizens of the deep.
I tried to kill him. I don't know what happened.
By the eye of Agamotto.
Wait. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think the platform broke. Because I had a squid. But I guess I should probably just had, just stayed in place. Yeah, I probably should have just stayed in place. Because instantly that platform fucking broke. And then because of how they were positioned and stuff, I should have probably like pushed back. But at the same time, with this right here, Jake could have just stayed up. And everybody just followed behind him. Because like I said, with one tank, the one tank can't occupy that much space. Really can't. And so right here, everybody should have kind of been pushed up a little bit with one tank. And so right here, again, Bucky Hook could have stopped that.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, they just kind of just fucked everybody up on that one. I don't even know how I got punched by that one. I staggered, but nice freeze again.
Armed and dangerous.
And that was kind of a bad ult because nobody was there to support you.
Better than Aunt May's chicken soup.
One couldn't win without the other.
I don't want to hit you more than I have to. Pretty sure those are bad guys.
Double KO.
Yep, that was basically it right there.
The score is 0-2-3.
This time around, let's see.
4, 3, 2. Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Then where is Namor's throne?
A nice deep freeze.
Prove ourselves worthy. Attack them.
Let's see how can we do this right here. So right here, to start off this part right here, okay? So Spider-Man is doing his job, and so we're already on it, right? The thing with Hela is that she can instantly just target the stun, right? And so right here, he could have instantly dropped a grenade right there.
Need some help.
What strange beasts?
Because it threatens the range of Spider-Man as a whole, because with his skin and Hela as a whole, he can't really do much against that. And even if he decides to dive her as a whole, she has an escape option. And all she has to do is just throw the stun at her feet, kind of like how Mantis does. Which negates the whole dive stuff, right? So now, don't get me wrong, we're pushing a lot, right? Now we pushed them a good bit because of how I place my turrets and stuff. Because I'm placing it behind them to where they have to shoot it. But we're also still getting, like, hit on Spider-Man. Yeah, see, all he's doing is just trying to target and stuff. And he's not killing anybody, which is still good, but at the same time, you know, he can't do too much.
I am vulnerable.
How did you die? Hold up. Oh, you just got... Oh yeah, you just took a whole lot right there because of the blind and you can't see, and yeah, that was a done dealers. And see, this is what I'm saying. Because of them running one tank, we're not invading the space that they're at. We're not. And so right here, it just seems like they're doing more invading with one tank than we are with two, and then, which is the crazy part, because this right here shouldn't have happened. Because which is why Thor isn't really played much in top levels, because he is not a frontline tank. He is a DPS tank. And so with having a DPS tank, if that DPS tank dies, they only have one, and then he just bulldozed his way basically towards us. And so with Jake being not on main and stuff, this space is open. And so, which is what happens again.
Get that vehicle moving again.
And then we don't even have enough ults to be built up in time to even really do much, really.
Don't mess mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
And so he just got everybody in the freaking backline, and I'm the only one alive again. And so a lot of it is just them, like, this is what I'm saying. Because they have a diver over here and stuff, they're taking a lot of attention from, because if everybody focuses, like, his thing is just to divert attention. Okay? Because once that happens, they can basically kind of just do whatever they want. They relied on Spider-Man to be the distraction, kind of like with Venom. But in this scenario right here, like I said, because we're so focused on Spider-Man. Where's Jake at? Oh, I see it. And see, this wasn't even a fight we should take because, like I said, with Thor being a DPS tank, he's not a good front line. And so, yeah, again, space being taken. All he had to do was just come in, and then guess what? Strange is just poking at you while, well, yeah, that whole team right there was just poking at you while we're getting dealt with in the back.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
And so I don't know why he birded towards the front when he could have birded to the back. Did you have freeze?
Don't mess with
Okay, so right there
the amazing
with freezes, you typically want to wait till he's in your face to do the freeze. Just like how you did in the first round, he stayed in your face. Okay, because like I said, he needs the Venom team up to kill outright. He's not going to stay in your face, because if he does, he's gonna get frozen and die. And so he can't really like do much as a whole. Okay, and so right here, this would have been a good opportunity to freeze. He would have stunned him, everybody would have pounced on him, and he would have died right there.
Spider-Man.
Okay, and so now I'm the only one alive, and I'm dead.
Just embrace the light. I was worried.
Because like I said, he's not gonna kill somebody outright who's above 250. He's not. Even with the Venom team up, he's not gonna do it. That stun didn't even hit nobody. That would have been safe for like going on the off angle or something. Kind of like what Delana does.
My own subjects turned against me.
I am ready to put on a show.
That was good. And see right here, this is what I'm saying, right? With how much is being taken by this one Strange, he's going to preoccupy her. This is where we down below should have pushed up, because yeah, he's blocking it, but at the same time we should have pushed up. If the Spider-Man were to dive me, I have an instant escape option. Everybody should have pushed up. And I have float to put down the squid anyway.
If I get hit, it's gonna hurt.
Only 60 seconds left.
And see, he had to go away, because like I said, he's not going to force anything. Now, which we do, obviously.
I am ready to.
And see, he forced an option from you. When right here, did you use your freeze? Yep, you did. And then here's the thing, like, he's just hitting you, and I mean, you had to force a cooldown, but you didn't really have to ult right here.
I am ready to put on a show. Light consume.
yeah, you were trying to survive, but that was a waste of an ult just to try and survive. At least, here's the thing. With that being said, if we're pushing up, you should have pushed up with us. You see how, like I said, he didn't, he hit you and you instantly healed? See, boom, right? You were fine. And so, right here, you should have just kept pushing up. Because, like I said, what is that Spider-Man gonna do? He's only targeting you because you're by yourself. And so, then now, he just... And that's... Okay, so when he pulled in, that was a good attempt to freeze. I'm not gonna say that wasn't, but right here, you should have just... went DPS mode and then just straight up fought him, because apparently he has no fear of basically fighting support at all. Like, he has no fear at all whatsoever, because any other Spider-Man would instantly go away when he sees his team die like this.
I am ready to put on a show.
And so he just kind of forced it, and it's kind of a waste. And so now we don't have no defense for real. And then this is where somebody should have went. Okay, this is where somebody... Now, Blake, hold on. This is where you could have made steps and got up here, because we could easily access this off angle if we had walls up here. And so we could like, for example, for you specifically, you could put a wall... Oh god, my camera angle. You could instantly put a wall underneath yourself and instantly gain access up here, then delete the wall. Or you can make steps to where multiple people can use it, such as Hella, such as me, and all of that stuff. Then I can do a flank right around here instead of doing a whole flank, doing a 360, basically. And so he picked me off, unfortunately. But we got a kill in the Doctor Strange. Now, again, this is where everybody should have pushed up. How did... Okay, that was kind of weird. Oh! Nobody saw that? I didn't know... Huh? How did that even happen? Wow. That's crazy. And see, this is what I'm saying, right? And so, let's say if just miraculously everybody just looked, right? This is why I say, whenever we win a portion of the fight, I always look around to see what happens. Because, let's say theoretically, Jake sees everybody, but that can't be everybody, right? That can't be everybody. So, this is where we should have been like, hey, we killed so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, right? That means they have... Because really and truthfully, we killed their Cloak and Dagger, their Luna, their Strange, and their Spider-Man. So everybody should have been in the head like, hey, where is their Hella? Blah, blah, blah. And to avoid this, okay? And so now he died and everybody's like, oh crap, Hella's flanking. And so, yeah. Now this was still good because I pressured her on the off angle. And I had to, because if she got back and still continued, who knows what would have happened. So I had to go. Okay. Now, because she's off alone, that's less of a DPS in the team fight. I don't even know what happened.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Welcome to the Dark Force dimension.
Oh.
From the coldest depths.
Ha! Oh, I killed both their Hela and the Strange.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Oh, nice. Okay. But yeah. Honestly, instead of wasting both squids there, I could have done one squid, but it is what it is.
Feel the ocean's chill.
I did get a kill on their support, which is good. Again, kind of wasted both squids again, but I know that for next time, so when it's just like a support or just one person, I'll use one squid, but if it's multiple people, use both. But yes, so right there, I got a kill in their supports. We still, like I said, everybody should have pushed up. We should have pushed on cart and stuff like that. But so here's where, this is how our next fight should have went. So Jay is at 68, Viper's at 49. We have to push up and force something so that we can have a Cloco or something ready, because if we just sit back and wait, we can't really do anything to have an advantage. Okay? I don't know what type of wall that was, really.
Keep going.
I'll just be real. What the heck? That worked? Oh my god, that is crazy. That's really smart. I didn't realize that you put it there. That's really smart. I'll give you that. That's actually really, really smart. I didn't even realize you put a wall that high. Holy mother of God. Okay. But that's actually pretty nice, but how did I die? Again. Oh, I died to... Oh! No wonder. Okay. Because I was like, I didn't see the wall. But that was actually really good, though. And see, you walled him off, right? And her ult's still going? Wow, her ult's still going. Okay. So, right here... Why is Jay off on his own? See, like, right here, you should have stayed, because now... Dang, how did Jay die? Oh my god. How did you... What? They instantly killed you. Like, how did you not fall back with Jake at all and stay behind? That's crazy. But like I said, again, we had an ult and we lost it. And this is what I'm saying. We're so scattered that we don't know what to do with ourselves. And I see why Jay was back there. I mean, yeah, Jay was back there, and it's because Jake was on the off angle and stuff, putting pressure. Because like I said, with 2 tanks, you can abuse that. And they only have 1. So right here, he got his ult in time, which is crazy to me, but he's facing backwards, which is why he didn't see Jake come back. And so that's the thing, you never want to face backwards, especially with this. Like, if Jake is going on the off angle, look how fast they turned. They instantly came this way and they just bullied him. While, yeah, like they were forced to go that way. And then guess what? Look at what happened. The Namor, we didn't even kill the Namor that was right there. Which is the issue. Like, the Namor lived for free. And I'm talking about, like, for free. Like, I'm talking about, like... See, like, right there. That should have been a kill right there. And this is what I'm saying. If you can't... And hella requires aim. Okay? And you threw that seed bomb so far. Like, hold on. Yeah, you should have thrown that at your feet. Cause it's a bomb. And it spreads out, so it still would have hit him. But at the same time, he should have been dead because he didn't even look at his bubble until he got low. And so he should have died right here. And then, like I said, now you got these people coming on the off angle and we're dead. That is how we basically started losing because, yes, Jake is actually doing a really good job at forcing attention. Because, look at what happened. Spider-Man and Namor are by themselves, but the rest of the team is over here. Right? And so... Like I said, with one tank, you can do that because that one tank has to follow whatever is happening. Which is why one tank, 3 DPS never works. Mostly never works. But in this case, it worked for them. But like here, for example, he should have not been able to bubble and the cloak come through like that. No. Not at all. Then because of this, we died. And that's where we're getting mixed up at. Like, Jake is doing a phenomenal job and stuff. Because like I said, Magneto can do that. But my problem is that Namor should not have lived right there. Yeah, Spider-Man would have killed Viper. But at the same time, with how far up they were, they should have not been able to do that, and Jay should have been paying attention at what was going on instead of thinking, oh, they might not come this way because it's an off angle.
Only 60 seconds left.
And so we got to get better at noticing off angles as a whole. And see, like right up here, again, off angle, both of them up here. And I instantly died. Nice combo. We instantly lost that fight. Unfortunate though. Yeah, I instantly died. I know. Because the reason why I instantly died is because I didn't have a way to get up there. And honestly, I probably shouldn't have taken that off angle as Namor, because if I was Star-Lord, okay, but if I'm Namor and stuff, I should not be taking that, because I'm forcing a cooldown to get up there. Yep, so that's my fault. And again, see right here, why are we facing down main when there is somebody staggered right there? And then nobody seemed to notice him in the air. Because I think I did say Strange and Spider-Man on the high ground, I think. And so nobody seemed to... Now, I don't think I did, but I feel like I did in this scenario because they were both up here. And nobody seemed to just notice that, like, hey, he finna do this, because they have better options to do it from the air and stuff. And then right here with the... Okay. So right here with Namor, everybody should have been on the Namor instead of pushing down main. So Blake, right here, you should have attacked the Namor along with Jake and everybody else. And then maybe that would have stopped him from being up there. Because guess what? If everybody destroyed this bridge and stuff, there would have been no high ground up here for him to do that. So because the way he started off this ult was that he just jumped and dove off. What if we destroyed that bridge? He would have had to use his float. Then everybody would have been like, hey, he's finna do his thing and stuff. And yeah. And because did Jake have his bubble? Yep, Jake had his bubble. So yeah, he didn't bubble any one of the supports. Nope. Cause here's the thing. In that scenario, with his camera angle, he was focused on the Namor, which is where everybody should have been and stuff. But I'm not gonna put that on Jake, because like I said, everybody should have been focused on the Namor on off angle first off before pushing the cart. Okay? Because if they were on high ground, they can't do anything unless they just super duper flank like Spider-Man's doing. And so if we're all the way pushing up here, like I said, space just got invaded again just by this happening. And Jake is the only person safe. And so consistently, they waited until space was open for them to take. That is how they won this effectively every single time. We allowed them space to do whatever they wanted to do. Basically.
30 seconds.
Essentially. I could have did a better job at placing my turrets on walls and stuff to prevent Spider-Man from doing the crap he's been doing and stuff. But as a whole, okay, what happened here? So yeah, see, we had a discussion that day where you were asking me, Blake, did I have ult? I did not have ult because I didn't target nobody. I did not target anybody because, like I said, I was focusing on going flanking and stuff and seeing where they are at. And so, like I said, Spider-Man flanked every single time and destroyed the bridge that was under here. And so I fell. And so I couldn't get anything started. I did not build ult in time. Yep. Don't get me wrong though. Aw. Nobody touched. Dang. That's unfortunate. We didn't walk for it. Wait, yeah. Why didn't we walk? Why didn't we walk? That's crazy. Yeah, we should have walked right here instead of just staying right here. We should have walked. Cause like I said, the worst case scenario is somebody dies, but yeah, we should have walked. Because this is a walkable ult. And then everybody would have been touching cart and we would have been able to touch cart and possibly win this fight right here. But it is what it is. But that is how we lost that one, unfortunately. And so just in general, we should have not given them the space to operate like that. We should not have given them the space to operate like that. We should have not we should have played more together The healers need to start pocketing each other effectively, because there were numerous times where heals could have been well placed between both supports. With the supports, y'all need to figure out when to divert the heals on yourself and when to divert the heals on the tanks. Because if somebody is diving and I'm anti-dive and whatever, I can only do so much. Spider-Man is not gonna kill you outright unless you're 250. Point blank simple. So the only person that would have been in trouble would have been just Jay. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying 250 is because with the combo, in order for him to be effective, he needs Venom. But with Namor, it just eliminates Spider-Man. And so without Venom, he can't really pick people off unless they're low health, basically. Or half health, essentially. And then let's also be clear, like I said, since he didn't have the Venom team up, he was just his only role would have been to just force cooldowns, because with you, Jay, you have Bubble. He can't kill you in Bubble. With you, Viper, he can't kill you when you're in DPS mode, because every time you fire, you heal yourself. So he can't heal you that way. So then that just leaves him just poking and prodding at both of y'all. And then if he stays in the back line and whatnot, then he's asking for a death sentence. Because if my squids are there, he's gonna die. And if Viper, you're in DPS mode, he's gonna die. Same with Viper. If you're in Bubble and you switch to Cloak and stuff, and you blind and auto aim, he's gonna die. And then with Hela right there, yeah. But we just gave them too much space to operate on. And so that's primarily why we lost the majority of the fights. But I hope you guys learned stuff from this loss and stuff. I know I did. I could have did a lot better at placing my squids on walls and stuff like that to avoid Spider-Man from doing all that. But it's always a learning experience. So I'm gonna post this and stuff, and yeah, peace.